Hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well, let's learn English together. And welcome to the studio, you wonderful chickens of the forest. How are you all today? Is your day going well? Is everything on track? Are you relaxed and calm and ready for some more English? You are, and you are? Well, that's terrific. So, you're having a great day. Good. And now, yes, that's right. It's going to get even better. So tell the cat and the dog to lie down and relax. Tell the goldfish to keep on swimming around and around and around and around. Take a sip of your coffee and let the fun begin. Now, let's think about what we looked at yesterday, shall we? We were talking about Loretta and about the fact that she's an expert in alarms and security systems. Now, let's think about the word expert. Do you remember what it means? An expert is someone who knows everything about a single subject. If your computer is broken, then you ask an expert what's wrong. You don't know everything about computers, so you don't know what's wrong. The computer expert knows everything about computers and has lots of experience. So the computer expert knows what to do and how to fix your computer. If I have a problem with the electricity in my flat, I phone an electrician to come and fix the problem. Why? Well, because he's an expert and I'm not. I don't understand electricity. Like Richie, he doesn't understand electricity.
Get out of the way, I'll do it. Here, hold these. Stop, Doc! I'm not impressed, you know. Stop messing about!
Okay, so what do we know about Loretta? We know that she's an expert. She's not an expert in electricity. She's not a computer expert. She's an expert in martial arts, things like kung fu and karate. And she's also an expert in alarms and security systems. Okay, now when we first met Loretta, she was trying to get a job at the hotel. She applied for the job of security manager at the hotel. She gave Mr. Williams her CV when she applied for the job. Mr. Williams is the manager of the hotel. Loretta had an interview with Mr. Williams and she got the job. Do you all remember? Loretta and Dave celebrated by going to the Ponzi Peacock for dinner. Okay, now after that, Loretta had another meeting with Mr. Williams. This meeting was to talk about the contract. Do you remember what a contract is? A contract is a legal agreement between two people. Well, two people, or perhaps between a company and a person, something like that. A contract is another word for an agreement. Two people decide that they will do something and they sign a piece of paper saying what they will do. When you start a job, for example, you sign a contract. The contract states what you have to do, what you don't have to do, what you must do, and what you mustn't do. The contract is an agreement which tells people about their obligations. The company will pay you this much money and you are obliged to do this, this and that. Okay. Now, Do you remember the language we used when we were talking about obligation? That's right, we talked about strong obligation and we used two different forms. The two forms we met were must and have to. You do remember them, don't you? Must and have to are the same strength. They have the same power, but they're a little bit different, aren't they? For a start, we have to be careful with must because must can be seen as aggressive. If we use must with other people, they think that it's a challenge to them and they react with aggression. So the easiest way to avoid trouble is to use must with ourselves. No one cares if we're being aggressive with ourselves, do they? No, of course not. It's a free country. If you want to be aggressive with yourself, then by all means, be my guest. Now, sometimes we want to be aggressive with other people. Sometimes people with certain jobs need to be aggressive with other people. Those people use must all the time because they want to send a message. They want the other person to understand. I am in charge. I am your boss. When I say jump, you jump. Okay. But I think we should remember the golden rule. Use must with ourselves and use have to with other people. Okay, what do we remember about have to? Well, it's the same strength as must, but it's neutral. It's not aggressive. When somebody uses have to, they're also sending a message. They're saying, this is not personal. I am a messenger. I don't have a problem with you, but this is what has to happen. The sun comes up, the sun goes down, and you have to do this. Think back, and you'll remember that must is very easy to use. Must has only got one form, must. We use the same form for all subjects. I must, you must, he, she, it must, we must, you must, they must. Simple, isn't it? With have to, it's not as simple. With have to, we have to conjugate the verb to have. We have to change the verb so that it's in the correct form for the subject. So have to changes when the subject changes. I have to, you have to, he, she, it has to. We have to, you have to, they have to. Okay, it's a little bit more complicated, but the verb to have is very easy to conjugate. So it's not very difficult, is it? No, not for us gods of English. Now, when we use must, then we follow it with what? That's right, we follow it with the infinitive without to. I must do, for example, or they must leave. Simple. With have to, we also follow it with the infinitive without to. If we used the infinitive with to, it would look and sound ridiculous. I have to do, silly. They have to leave, ridiculous. So, that's quite simple as well. With must and with have to, we follow them with the infinitive without to. I must do, they must leave. I have to do, they have to leave. Okay, now where else did we meet something strange with strong obligation? Yes, that's right. When we looked at the idea of strong obligation, we learned that must has no past form. Must only exists in the present, which means that if we want to talk about strong obligation in the past, we have to use have to. But when we use have to, we have to conjugate it. So when we want to talk about strong obligation in the past, it's not have to, but the past form of have to, had to. Apart from that change, where we have to conjugate the verb to have, everything else is easy. Subject plus had to, followed by the infinitive without to. I had to go. You had to leave. He had to sit down. She had to stand up. It, the cat, had to lie down. We had to run. You had to stand still. They had to hide. So, that's simple enough, isn't it? When we want to talk about strong obligation in the past, we have to use had to. We pick a subject. I, you, Gusti the dog. Add had to, and then follow it with the infinitive without to. Simple. Okay. What else do we remember from our lessons about strong obligation? Well, we probably all remember that there's a bit of a strange change when we go in the other direction, when we add the word not to the equation, when we make the negative form of must and have to. Okay, so yesterday we revisited something from the past, didn't we? That's right. Yesterday we had a look at the idea of strong obligation again. We first heard about the idea of obligation in English when we were learning about Loretta Swett and the job of security manager at the Fabuloso Splendido Hotel. Now, we know that Gordon Taylor, Mary Benchfield's brother, works at the Fabuloso Splendido Hotel. Gordon is the receptionist at the hotel. Gordon stands at the hotel reception and helps guests check in and check out. Gordon also helps the guests with other things too. If someone needs information, Gordon can usually help them. If someone has got a problem, they tell Gordon and he sorts the problem out. If someone phones the hotel to ask about booking a room, Gordon can help them too. Now, who else do we know who works in the hotel? Well, we've seen the hotel manager, Mr. Williams, and we know that Mr. Williams has got a secretary. Mr. Williams' secretary is called Sharon. When Loretta spoke to Sharon about organising a meeting with Mr. Williams, we heard about some other people who also work in the hotel. We heard the name of the hotel owner, Mr. Rolling Hard. And we also know that the head of catering, the man in charge of the food and drink, is Mr. Watson. The head chef, the man who organises the menu and the kitchen, the man who cooks the best food in town, is Marcel Proink. We know the names of these people, but we haven't met them yet. And we're not going to meet them today either, because, yes, it's that time again. It's time to welcome Enid. Enid, are you there? Come on down.
Hello, people. Hello, hello. It's me again, Enid. Now, today I'm in a terrible rush, so I can't stay for long. I've got to go to the doctor's surgery. After I was so poorly with DOMS, the doctor decided I needed an ECG. Oh, another acronym. And this one means, oh, good heavens, I'm going to be late for my doctor's appointment. I've got to go. See you all later. Toodaloo, pip pip, chitty bye.
Blimey, that was quick, wasn't it? That was like sugar off a spoon. Good grief. I think she left so quickly, she left skid marks on the floor of the studio. Okay, well, Enid's off to the doctor for an ECG. No doubt we'll hear all about it from her tomorrow. Okay, she's gone and we're going. Thanks for watching. Remember to check out the website. You all know the address, don't you? www.m5tv.hu. Right then, this is M5. I'm Gav Duncan, and we'll meet tomorrow. same time, same place.
See you later. Bye.